Welcome to the Executive Functioning for Parents and Kids YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about what it's like to parent while neurodivergent and some of the pros and cons of being neurodivergent and having kids who are also your children. The cons are obviously all of the things that our kids need and that therapists will tell us we need, and psychiatrists and psychologists and teachers and everyone. They're going to all say the kids need consistency and they need like a very organized environment and all of these things that just really are very much a struggle for us. Not only that, but our kids are going to be behind in executive functioning skills. They're going to need to learn some of these, and being taught them is helpful. And we are struggling with those executive functioning skills ourselves. We also may be undiagnosed. A lot of times we'll seek help for our kids before we seek help for ourselves. Don't do that. Go get help for yourself. Not only are we possibly undiagnosed or like late diagnosed, but we are also likely to have family members who are also ADHD or neurodivergent in some way. That means that our support system, the people we might lean on for help, may also struggle with the same things. So they're not going to be able to help in some ways. Sometimes they will deny that there's an issue because, again, nobody knows what neurotypical looks like if they are neurodivergent. And a lot of times people don't recognize that they are neurodivergent. A lot of people have been masking for a very long time. A lot of people get very angry if you suggest that they might be neurodivergent. There's a lot of negativity. A lot of people have been told that they were a bad parent if their kid was neurodivergent, particularly like 80s and prior. So there's people, grandparents, great-grandparents, who may not be completely supportive. So we're looking at a lot of things that are just really hard. And obviously, people with ADHD and autism as well, we tend to have like certain things that just really kind of are triggering for us. Lots of noise can be really hard. We can get overstimulated easy. This is not kid friendly. Kids are overstimulating, and neurodivergent kids are really overstimulating. Because let's be honest, like when you're neurodivergent, you do some things that can overstimulate other people pretty frequently. So my house is extremely overstimulating for me a lot of the times. And that means that I have to manage my own emotions around that. And people with ADHD in particular have a hard time regulating their emotions. So that means when we're triggered as parents, that means we're like not having like a, oh, I'm feeling a little frustrated moment. We're having a like moment. So we need to be able to work on ourselves so we can step out of the situation. So we can maybe take medication that can help with the emotional regulation, whatever we need to do. So all of these things are a huge issue for us. However, here are the positives. I think there is an extreme positive to understanding where your kids are coming from and what to expect. We know what it's like. We can empathize with what they're going through. We can see they're having a hard time with social skills. We can see that they're having a hard time managing their energy levels. It is easier for me to say those things and to express, hey, I know this is really hard. We need to take care of ourselves, and this is what we need to do. And I can go out and do it with my kids. And not only is that good for my kids, but it's good for me because it kind of forces me to do the things that I'm telling them to do. So I think even though some of these skills are really hard for us to put into place for ourselves, when we put it into place for our kids and use that as a way to support them while also supporting ourselves, we can actually kind of do good things for ourselves at the same time, whether that be organizing the house in a strategic manner for our brains, whether it be we're sitting down to body double with our kids when they're doing their homework. Maybe they don't need help with homework, but maybe we have paperwork to do. So we do our paperwork and pay bills while they're doing their homework, and we sit beside them and we do our work together. We know it's hard for them. We know coping mechanisms because chances are, even if you weren't diagnosed and even if you didn't go to therapy and even if you didn't get medication, you probably have coping mechanisms that you came up with or that were passed down through your family. There are little things that I learned to do that are executive functioning skills that I learned from my dad, who had ADHD, undiagnosed. That genetic predisposition makes it so that we are handing down our coping mechanisms to our children. Some negative ones probably as well. So we got to be aware of that. But we hand those things down. One of the things my dad did really well, plan things out. He did some art, like not architecture, but he was in like contracting and like building. So he would like draw out floor plans for our houses. And I would watch him, and then I would make my own floor plan for the castle I wanted to build, like, because I was a kid and it was fun, and I was 12 or 8 or 10 or whatever. And this was so much fun for me. But it required executive functioning skills. So it was a fun thing I did that allowed me to learn those skills without actually, through play, because it is kind of play. It's like art and play to do this. I learned those skills watching my dad. And he never taught me. He didn't sit down and go, this is an executive functioning skill. Like, he didn't do that. He didn't know what it was. As a baby, we had this really cool, well, we still have it, little play kitchen. And we'd sit in the kitchen and we would practice safety stuff. And I always was really, it was important to me to teach the safety things because I burnt myself and hurt myself quite a bit with different things in the kitchen. So it was really important for me to teach him these skills and to have him think through them. So we're in the kitchen and he's making me some like toy kitchen stuff. And I'd be like, oh my goodness, that's a hot pan. You should use a glove. And he'd get his little toy glove out and he'd use the glove because the pan is hot. I was also like a super sensitive kid, which comes a lot with kids that are neurodivergent. We get yelled at a lot. So we end up being pretty sensitive to other people's negativity. So even when I'm being gentle with my kids and telling them they did something wrong, a lot of times I'm very hypersensitive to the little reactions they're having to the things that I'm saying. And I could see their face change. And I go, I upset them. And I can react to that and I can deal with that. But like, we are teaching these skills through what we do every day. And some of those things are obvious stuff and some of them aren't. There are things that the kids pick up on accident that we don't realize we're doing. Little things. Sometimes I like plan out my calendar and they see me making a calendar each week. They see my alarms going off. I have like a billion alarms. That's how I get places on time. Even if we are struggling ourselves, and it's okay to struggle ourselves, we're role modeling what it means for life to fucking be hard sometimes. Teaching them what it means to be neurodivergent and how we can cope with it and how we can find our neurodivergent friends or people that accept us for who we are. All of these things, we are skilled at those things. You know what it's like. And that is invaluable. Your kids knowing they're not alone is huge. I'll try to put some more videos out here soon. Have a great day. Learn more about executive functioning on happyhoneysuckle.org/blog.